Okay, hello. My name is Domingos Coxi. I'm here with the extremely talented young film composer, Ros Gilman. I'm here on behalf of the Hollow News Source, and we're literally going to have an interview with Ross. We're just going to talk about Ross's projects, how he got into composing as a young person, his current projects, his future projects, his inspirations, and so forth. So anyway, here we go. Ross, it's a pleasure having you back again.
Well, thanks for doing this with me.
Oh, was it 2 years ago we met?
I think that's
BAFTA
it, yeah.
event, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
What's going on? What projects have you been working on recently? I know you're a very extremely busy person, so I appreciate you coming and taking the time out
It's a pleasure.
on a Sunday. But what project you got going, Ross?
I just finished working on a short by a Russian director at St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg.
This is Petersburg.
Yes, based director. Leonid Grigorko. I'm going to say with a Russian accent.
Okay, I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Okay.
It's a wonderful director who I met at Encounters Film Festival in Bristol.
Oh wow!
Last year, and he actually won, I think, a micro short film that he did, which was premiered in space.
That is a first, everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think has that ever been done before? I don't
I've
think
never
I've
heard of this being done before, so it was really, really cool. I was really impressed myself.
Wow.
So we just finished something with him
Okay.
together, his new project,
Okay.
and that was good fun. And I can't really say much about it. I don't know what I'm allowed to say or not.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the last one I finished, and it looks like I'm doing something with a London-based director next,
Okay.
which is going to be done next month. So this is what's happening, and I've just had a single released. I don't know if you caught that. It's called Fresh Air.
Yes, I've seen you advertising it on the air.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know you're very multifaceted. Like you compose, you write songs. So
Thank you.
awesome. Is that so? Something that you've been working on for quite a while? How long did it take you to produce that?
Fresh Air, it usually doesn't take me too much to produce a piece, but the process that starts afterwards is the marketing it, and then the marketing process really is what takes a lot of time, and so quite a bit of money also going into marketing a track. And depending on the industry, you some of the viewers might know this, but it's usually at least the amount of money that you spend on creating products, you create on promoting the product. And in some industries it goes as far as 10% of the product and 90% on the promotion. In the music industry is maybe sometimes half or a bit more than that. So
It's almost like the film industry, almost, right?
Exactly. The film industry is like half of what's the film costs, or sorry,
It's amazing, isn't it?
What the film costs, yeah. This is what I've been working on, and Fresh Air is out now. If anyone wants to listen to it, it's on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, on Musical.ly, my official store.
There you have it, folks. Great plug by Ross. Very talented. Check it out, definitely. So, when you're writing the music and then you're creating music for a film or TV show, is there a slightly different process into how you approach it, or is it similar? It's a similar sort of mechanism of creativity that you have when you go through the process,
Right.
or film or your own music.
So you mean standalone music?
Standalone music.
A song that I'm writing or
And
producing.
and then one
versus-
for a film or TV project.
So usually, one of the main differences. Question, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I thought I'd try. Didn't want to be boring. I wanted to try something really interesting.
Absolutely. I don't think I've ever been asked this before.
Oh, well. Ladies and gentlemen, I've
Good question.
I've made Ross speechless. Awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just trying to stall to find an
Awesome.
Okay, so one of the differences usually between writing standalone music like a song or a dance track or whatever you do, and writing musical film is the structure. So the structure of a song, if any music enthusiasts are watching, is quite straightforward. It's been like this for decades. Yeah, I've got an intro and then usually a verse, a bridge, and a chorus. Again, verse, bridge, and chorus, and so on and so forth. That might vary slightly. But in film, you have the picture dictating the structure. So the images, what's happening on the screen is telling you what the shape of the music needs to be. When does the music need to emphasize something? When does it need to quiet down, to go away, to go in the background? When does it need to be more or less evident?
Mm-hmm.
So that is one of the differences.
Yeah.
And then another one that I can think of at the top of my head, because it's a question.
No, it's fascinating. It's great. They're going in depth. Not many people, even people watching, get to see the in depth of the different level it takes to create such a great piece. All the iconic pieces that you see in films and television or so forth. So much work. So it's great stuff, Ross.
Yes.
I'm listening intently.
Well, yeah. The other thing I'd say is that you collaborate with a director and a producer, and obviously the director will have the vision. He will, whether he has written the script or not, they will have a vision of what type of music they want often, and what they want the music to say, which emotions they want the music to convey. So obviously you often you work with the director, or else you can work something out. But I usually like to get direction from the director and just say, okay, this is what's happening. This is what I want the audience to feel, for example, and that means you're again writing to a direction, rather than if you write standalone music, you just do whatever you please.
Okay.
And I would say those are probably the main differences. In terms of style, any music can be in film. Whether it's singer-songwriter or orchestral music or jazz music or pop music, I think that doesn't really matter, because there is so a time for any genre, for whichever music you like, in film. So I'd say does that answer your question?
No, yeah, that was really good, more detailed than I could even fathom. But no, I also appreciate it. I was wondering, I don't know if you've noticed it, or if you get that. I'm noticing a lot of film composers that there's a lot of collaborations between a classic composer like yourself and then someone from a jazz or electrical music or pop music or study. There's a lot of collaborations now. I've noticed when they're creating a piece for the television and film. Have you noticed that? Is that a new thing? Was it always been like that? Or
the first time I was really aware of it was for the film The Social Network.
Okay.
We had two composers coming in for obviously from Trent Reznor from I think Nine Inch Nails. Who was obviously a specialist for a particular type of music. We do have, I think, composers or producers who collaborate, because they both bring something to it that the other maybe is not so specialized in. So someone who's very good writing orchestral music might want to collaborate with someone who's very good in electronic music, and you've got this fusion of elements which might be just what the film needs. So the music that best supports the story, the music that best tells the emotions of the film. That's what I would say. Let's see where the trend goes.
I was fascinated there, because obviously, especially you're very young for composers. You're young, like you're probably nowhere near your peak of your powers, right?
I reckon, yes.
Yeah.
There's a long way still to
You get. They say the greats of the industry, they get better as they get older. So it's a fascinating industry, isn't that? What have you learned? What do you reckon you've improved in your way of composing, understanding? Maybe since when you first started in the industry, like to where you are now. Like what do you reckon you've improved on? What do you reckon that you've learned that's helped you achieve the levels and the award. I've got a list of the awards you won here. It's unbelievable here. I've got a few pages here, so you know that you've that you've achieved. You've been you've spoken about by the BAFTA, Melbourne Chamber Music Competition. I can go on and on here. So what is it like that you've learnt, Ros, that's helped you achieve and become sort of the composer you are, and even are going to be, because you're nowhere near the end of your career. Almost at the beginning still, almost.
Yes, I think as a film composer, the further you go down this path of writing music for film, the more often you will encounter that, like I just actually said before, that different types of music are wanted for certain situations. There is one film needs one type of music, and a different film needs an entirely different type of music.
Yeah.
So as a composer, as a film composer, I like to think that it's very good to be flexible, to be able to compose jazz music and arrange jazz music, or write dance music, EDM music, which might just be relevant for certain scenes. And I think along the years that I've been doing it, I've had the pleasure basically to learn these styles, because they're all based on the same laws of music. The theory behind writing music or just behind music is the same, whether it's heavy metal or I don't know what that type of music.
R&B.
Exactly. Yeah, it all boils down to the same laws of music, and that means you learn and you analyze. If you need to write some reggae for some music, you try and analyze how does it work, and with your knowledge of music theory, you then learn how to do it. You kind of download it into your brain, and then you produce something in this style. So I think this is probably something that I've learned over the past years, the different genres of music, and of course you can fuse them together if need be.
So how did Ros Gilman, a young Ros Gilman, get into this industry? Like, how old was you when you thought, wow, I'm love this? And you've got, obviously you're talented, so when did you know? When did it happen? You was in from family or members that that influenced you, or was it something you found yourself? Or how did it happen? When you find your love for this? When did it happen?
So it means music in general.
Music in general, and then expanding
specifically
into
film music.
Then film music as well. Like it's all encompassing as one technique.
Absolutely, I agree. I had no choice really.
Okay.
Both my parents are musicians,
okay.
And I don't know, they might be watching this video.
Mr. and Mrs. Gilman.
And they're both professional musicians.
Wow.
My mum's a violinist, and my dad is actually was a pianist and used to teach music theory at a uni.
So you're dynasty almost.
Exactly, yeah.
It's in your blood. Wow.
Exactly, it's in my blood, and I had no choice. So I started when I was 3, sort of playing violin. And basically took it from there for many years until I had an injury.
Oh, okay.
And that was quite a difficult moment in my life. But I had to make a decision: do I want to continue doing music or not? And I chose music because I love music.
Of course.
And if you can't perform anymore, then you can either compose or produce or conduct, and this is what I ended up doing. So going from being an instrumentalist into composing was more of not of choice necessarily, but because I wanted to continue doing music. And funnily enough, I've actually got something new coming up. Nobody knows about this yet.
I'm curious.
But and it's got to do with me in my past as an instrumentalist. That's what I'm going
Oh,
to say. So stay tuned if you're interested.
Keep an eye on it, everyone.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Ross.
That's how I basically became a film composer.
That's awesome that it's like this generation, like obviously you growing up being surrounded by music, so obviously it subconsciously went inside you, which is just great, and obviously talent was passed down. So music, some people are just born to sort of be in the industry, and you definitely were.
Thank you.
I was gonna say, obviously as a young, so what composers inspire you? Did you like at the moment that influence you, that you look at, you say, yeah, they're really good, and I sort of strive to sort of be in that sort of style, or maybe influence you to do your own thing? Well, at the moment, any names that you could give us?
Absolutely.
Even known names or unknown names, like educate us.
Yes. So my idol, I would say, is a name that many people might know. Certainly, the music that he has written, I think most people will know. My big idol is the legendary John Williams.
Oh, God.
You know him, Domingos?
Yeah.
Schindler's List, Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Jaws, of course, exactly, and all.
Star Wars, Darth Vader's theme. It's just
absolutely.
We could go non-stop.
Yeah, Home Alone and what not? I can't think of.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. This guy is a legend, and he is someone that I really look up to, and what the next generation. And is a wonderful composer, a big name in the industry today, French composer, Alexandre Desplat. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he won an Oscar and a BAFTA last year for...
Oh, wow. Is it the Shape of Water?
Yes, exactly.
Directed by Guillermo del Toro?
Guillermo del Toro, exactly, yes, absolutely.
Great
director. Yes, wonderful, and wonderful music. So he is one of the many examples. He does a lot of music with Wes Anderson, so he wrote for the Grand Budapest Hotel and so on and so forth, and wonderful music. Imitation Game is another one he did.
Oh, wow.
Wonderful score. Yes, Alexandre Desplat and John Williams.
That's from elite. Yeah, there's so many. It's like people don't. Sometimes I feel. Like I remember when I first met you, Ross, I was like, you found out you could be a film composer and the music, and I've like got this opportunity because I always felt music is so important. So many of these great films, we can go back decades or last 100 years in filmmaking.
Yeah.
I would say almost the music is almost 40% of the film.
Wow. Yeah.
It actually makes or break the film. It's amazing. Like even that wonderful project, animated project I loved you did.
Yes.
The music for that was so important to the piece. I noticed. I remember when you broke it down on your website, and you came in and you did the talk. It's like the way how you explained it, and I noticed I watched it without the sound down.
Yes.
It's so not the same.
Yes.
I don't know if you've noticed that yourself being a young composer. Have you noticed the change of how you guys are thinking?
Right.
Looking at the whole industry going forward.
In terms of
innovation and embracing other facets of music and so forth, and bringing it into the composing process.
Yeah, I think the film music industry is changing. I think the sound is changing from the way it was 30 years ago, 50 years ago with the films of Hitchcock and his composer Bernard Herrmann, who did the scores for Psycho and Vertigo and beautiful scores. But I think film music is changing.
I've noticed, obviously, just being just as a listener, not a music expert or anything, that I don't know, you don't get as much iconic music as you get before. The themes, like some little stick it now is sort of quite a few of it. Obviously, you still got great talented guys, like some of the ones you mentioned,
absolutely,
like Alex Duplass and Ludwig and Ramin and so forth.
Yes.
But it's sort of a bit generic.
Yes.
Is that what you meant, or I don't know?
I think yes. It's there is a sort of tendency, I think, to maybe go slightly in some genres to go away from these themes that then people used to go out of the theatre and hum the Indiana Jones too, or the Star Wars too, Harry Potter is like a recent example, more or less. Yeah, I love that theme.
You hear it,
it's magic, it's Hogwarts and all that. But I think I don't know why, but like just like you said, there are no recently not so many iconic themes that you say, oh, I hear this Jaws, I know this shark is coming, yeah. And today it's not so associated. I'd say you're listening to something. What is this? Where's the school from? Well, I don't really know. It could be a host, a host of things.
Ross, that's fascinating that you said that, because it's great, because I've obviously since meeting you, I've met a couple of film composers. I was fortunate to and stuff, and obviously. And I sort of mentioned to him, like, I don't see the icon, and they sort of agreed as well.
All right.
So your whole fraternity seems to know it's changed.
Yes.
Even the younger generation of composers like yourself sort of know that it's evolved.
Iconic tunes or iconic themes are maybe not so present anymore.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens in the next, 10, 20 years, and I'd like to see them come back.
Yeah.
I'd like to see these iconic themes come back. Jurassic Park is another one that John Williams wrote, which is super iconic.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park. I see the dinosaurs in.
That you got Danny Elfman, Alan Silvestri.
Absolutely.
Back to the Future and stuff.
Absolutely, Back to the Future. Another iconic theme, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just
this is the car. It's going back in time.
Isn't it? Because I guess it's a traditional way of making music. Because you're a traditionalist, aren't you? You've got that. Because I've watched your stuff in the studio. And obviously, people forget he's a music conductor. He conducts the orchestra.
That's right.
Like, I don't know what guys he can't do. you make us feel lazy. No. Like I said, I've seen you when you do that. So, what sort of mindset does it take for you when you're conducting? Like, is there do you have a ritual that you do before every time you do it? Or
Yes.
I've always been fascinated by it.
The reason why I went into studying conducting at university was it just makes sense for composers to be able to conduct some music, and it's great fun. I love doing it. I love being surrounded by musicians and working with them. This is literally anybody who's doing music. The recording session, whether you've got 2 musicians or 40 or 100 orchestral musicians, that's the highlights for me and for some of the colleagues that I know. It's the highlight of the production, of the music production, and or the soundtrack production.
Okay.
And if you're there, conducting or even just producing your own music, and great fun, love it. But in terms of rituals, it's a skill that you train. So I before I produce a recording session and there, or if I conduct, like you said, I prepare. So when I conduct, whether it's live or recording, there are days of preparation for me, just because I need to be prepared, and I know when to change the beats. I know when to tell the flutes to come in and point at them with my finger. So it's preparation. It's a skill like anything else. That's it. And different skill from writing music entirely. But many composers, just like John Williams himself, are often conductors and conduct their own music. So it's so funny when I said when I wrote, I used to think to myself, man. So this is what it would have been like if I would have met like a young John Williams. Because it would have been Fingers crossed.
I was imagining, or young Alan Silvestri, meeting him as a young composer. It would have been fascinating. So
I'd love to meet young Alan Silvestri.
Because you're sort of, like I said, you are in your infancy with your career. It amazes me how you've got so much still to give. It's amazing. You've gone to so many different, obviously, festivals and events around the world, from Berlin and especially Cannes. I know you're a frequent visit to Cannes. You went this year as well, was it?
Actually, this year I didn't, but last year, the year before.
Yeah. What was that experience been like for you, going to Cannes and stuff?
Wonderful.
That's quite, I don't know, iconic. Arguably the most iconic film festival in the world, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Cinema, and so what was the experience like all the time we've gone?
Absolutely. I've actually done a little vlog about this.
Awesome.
So anyone wants to know what the top 5 things are to do when you're at the Cannes Film Festival, watch my vlog on my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/what's called Ros Gilman. Cannes was extraordinary. It's an extraordinary festival. It's huge. So I think if I get the facts right, so don't quote me on this, but the town at least doubles in people who live there temporarily during the festival.
Wow.
So it's a small town, but then the entire world of filmmakers comes, and I think tens of thousands of filmmakers come, and it's work and fun and beach and sun.
Wow. Nice combo.
So absolutely, you meet great people. You've got all these pavilions that you can visit. Every country has, not every country, but many countries have the pavilions. You can go in there, the filmmakers will be there, and you can talk to them. And of course, parties, lots of parties every day, all day.
Obviously, that's not all Ross does. He does do it for music, but you've got to enjoy yourself.
And I think these parties are really more for finding new collaborators.
Okay.
And really meeting new people and then this is like a catalyst for creative energy coming together, because we're all in film.
Yeah.
We all need people to work together with.
Yeah.
I can't write film music without a film.
Yeah.
I need collaborators.
Yes,
A
team
director
effort.
needs a cinematographer, needs a producer, needs actors,
Yeah.
needs stage designers and visual effects.
Caterers.
Exactly. Caterers, yeah, everybody.
Got to eat.
Security.
Yeah, security, exactly. Awesome,
So you meet these people there, and I think this is just everyone is there. And I've just come back from Edinburgh, the film festival in Edinburgh, and there was a panel which is very interesting. One of the panelists said that you meet people in Cannes which you would never have the chance to meet because they're impossible to get to. You can get to their secretary or their assistant, but you can never get to them. But they're there, they're at the party, and you can just walk up to them and say hi and talk to them.
Because it's the nature of the business, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes.
It's like I said, it's been like a education, learning from you how this all works, and like I said, fascinating. And obviously all the different festivals that you've gone to and stuff, you must have met so many wonderful possible collaborators.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, every festival has its own vibe. So Berlin has its own vibe. It's very cool.
Beautiful city.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And it takes place in February. To keep warm.
Keep warm.
And I've not been to Standout, for example. Of course, I don't know where that is, but London has the BFI, LFF, London Film Festival. It's a great festival. Edinburgh is a great festival in the UK, and in Bristol and in the UK there is a great short film festival in Countess.
The first thing I was going to say, the first part I was going to before I go to the next part, is the streaming service of things like that. Now, how has that affected you? Is that open more avenues for yourself, or how do you look at it being a sort of a musician, a composer, and everything encompassing that you are? Like, how do you look at the whole streaming revolution?
Absolutely, revolution, definitely.
Yeah.
So we in the music industry there was a big problem with piracy. Yes, in the industry, in the film industry as well.
Yeah.
And the International Federation of Phonographic Industries, they compile a report every year, giving you the numbers of music sales and revenue generated from music. And I think it's the 4th year in a row that the music industry keeps growing thanks to streaming. So it's used to be a bit of a sad decline for I think 20 years. Don't quote me on the numbers again, but for a long time. Since the millennium, 1999, 2000, that's when it started declining with the digital revolution.
Napstar and things like that.
Exactly.
Change it.
And I think now it's growing. It's quite hopeful. So in terms of film, obviously with Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu in the States and all the other services, and I've just heard that more services, Disney's going to set up their own service, and I think BritBox,
Warner Brothers got one.
Oh, right. Yes, they're going to pull all their content in.
Yeah,
so I think it's certainly an exciting time to be in, and also with the streaming service for musicians, it's a great way to be discovered. So you get on playlists if your music's good. You get on playlists and people find you through streaming services. How otherwise would not have found you before.
You have to send tapes or whatever, so forth.
Exactly. How we used to do that back in the days, I wouldn't even know.
I can't imagine doing that.
Yeah, it's an interesting time.
I guess the industries, they've realised they had to evolve and embrace it.
Yes.
I've noticed now. It's funny.
Absolutely.
Nearly every major artist has a official channel on YouTube now.
Yes.
They didn't have before.
Yes.
I've noticed in industries ever since, people do more live shows now.
Yes.
There's so much live shows going on. Even you guys, like, you do live. I know you've done a lot of live shows, and you even get orchestral shows, things like the Royal Albert Hall and various parts and stuff. So, like, it's almost with the streaming thing, they did the people want to see that visceral experience more.
Yes.
It's fascinating. I just found it fascinating.
Yes, it's a very good point. And with the kind of the birth of film music touring, if you want, all the big guys, Hans Zimmer and Alan Silvestri, I think, obviously Howard Shore with the Lord of the Rings, they've toured the Earth. The Middle Earth.
The Middle Earth, yeah.
They toured the world with big orchestras playing in the big classical concert halls like the Royal Albert Hall, which I think is great. And Ennio Morricone, I saw him live.
That must have been good for you.
Yes, that was very cool. I saw him in Vienna when I was a student there.
Wow.
So it's really the kind of an advent of the birth of film music being played live. It's very popular now, and so I think that's maybe that's got something to do with streaming, and then certainly also because there's a demand for people just.
Yeah.
I think these concerts are like sold out. They've got several shows on in the O2, and they're all sold out.
So appreciation. You guys are rock stars, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, I mentioned before, like so many years of awards. I mean, you did enter the competition to Hollywood songwriting.
Oh yes, that was very recently.
That's awesome.
Yes, that was thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
A track of mine called Magical Voyage.
Okay.
Was nominated in the classical category. I was very good news. I remember when I got the email.
That's amazing.
Quite a happy man. Yes. It's a great contest, and I think that there are quite a few great contests out there now to spot talent and give people the opportunity to get some exposure.
Well, the social media aspect. Obviously, social media has its pitfalls, but like I said, it's got great positive. Like, look at the amount of people you can reach in such a short space of time around the world.
Yeah.
How have you noticed? How's that helped you sort of get your name out there, Ros, and your brand and stuff? Yeah. There's so many more people finding out about you will meet you every day. So how has that helped you in your sort of quest, obviously, to show people your creativity and let people embrace your musical, how you see the world in that musical style?
Of course, there's everybody is on social media now, so it's not easy to get through. One of my teachers used to say there's a lot of noise. You need to cut through the noise. There are a lot of artists creating and doing music and film, and so it's not easy. But the medium is there, and in my case, I've had the pleasure to meet quite a few wonderful people on social media who I like to call dear friends today. So so it certainly gives you opportunities that you would not have had without it. Definitely a vital tool of of any artist today. Like you said, everybody's got a YouTube channel. Everyone is supposedly on social media.
Yeah. So what was it? You've obviously I've seen like your social media. It's very successful, very professional. What did you learn that you managed to sort of break through the noise? Because you're building up a very big following.
Thank you.
Yeah. What did you sort of learn that you managed to direct, like, you know, to show yourself, your true self in your music to people, and people are like, oh yeah, I want to embrace Ros Gilman's work.
So you want me to give away all my
No, not a secret. I said, obviously, not give everything away, but in the sense that, what was it that you done that sort of you given an answer that anybody can understand, that you did, that to found yourself, that you were able to be, I guess, maybe a genuine version of yourself, and people seem to, you know, be attracted to that and come and
it's definitely a long game. You need to be very active consistently, so you need to be creating content and consistently creating content, putting it out there, quality content, something genuine, something you have to say. That's probably certainly something that will help you get through the noise. But it's not easy yet.
Of course.
The lie here. I think it's not easy to build a following, and so there's a sizable following of people who really genuinely support you.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's amazing that the music, people go listen to the music, but not everyone fully knows the inner layers of the process. And I think it's just very fascinating that you get to talk to them. And like I said, I've learned, I had an appreciation for it before. Obviously, meeting you, getting to know you, I've gotten a high appreciation. So I appreciate it. Yeah,
thanks for inviting me.
Oh no, it was actually a pleasure.
Giving me the opportunity to talk, and then I'm hoping it was useful to people watching, and that it was an interesting chat.
It was.
Inside the film industry, the music industry.
Well, like I said, that it was an honour a few years ago. You come to the Sun Film Club. It's been an honour, another honour again. You doing this interview for the Hollywood News Source. You know, I think you're a great talent. A world-class talent, I've known it. He's a world-class, is the truth. A young talent, film composer, and you know, like I said, I want to be. I always like to. I think I always say to you, I was the first one. You know,
that's true.
I was the first one. Just remember his name. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, Marvel, DC. This guy.
That's right. Yes.
Yes, this guy. No, honestly, Ros. So, before we wrap up the interview, what would be the 3 words that you describe yourself as a musician, conductor, all-encompassing musician? Like, what 3 words would you say that would describe you and your music?
I think I'm gonna have to get back to you on
that one, yeah? Oh, was it?
3 words, very typical that one.
Yeah.
3 words. Well,
it can always change. You could go 3 words that you think of now.
Yes, genuine. Being genuine is important. I think hard work. And grit. So consistency. Being yourself, working hard, and keeping at it. So I think this might be the 3 words that
That's a great 3 words, because you can.
I have to come up with this, and without a warning. That's the best I can do.
No, that's really good, because you could apply that to almost anything in life.
Yeah,
that's a great thing about those 3 words that you've come up with. So, like I said, I want to thank Ros for his time. Follow him on rosgilman.com. Obviously, we'll put up all his details when this goes up. Like I said, Ros, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so again, I'm looking forward to your projects and so forth, and keep rising. He's like I said, he's a great talent. He's a great person, and I hope you all support him. And we're here at Hollywood News Source. Definitely, we hope for the best, and we'll definitely be there when you're going to even bigger and greater things.
First row seats.
Thank you. Oh yeah, I'm gonna remember that. Thank you, Ros.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you.